Hey guys, and thanks for joining me again. Well, this week I've got a pretty special guitar with me. As you can see, I've got a Gibson Les Paul, and it's not just any Les Paul. This is actually a Gibson Les Paul Personal, and this is one of 146 guitars that was made between 1969 and 1972. So a very rare bird indeed. And to actually put that into context, if you think about how many 1959 Les Paul bursts were made, there were 1,500. So to have 146 of these guitars made, this is actually 10 times as rare as a 59 burst. So anyway, a bit of context there. And this guitar's actually been loaned to me by the good people at Found Sounds, who are a guitar store and music store here in Melbourne, and actually who I bought my John Lennon Les Paul Jr. from a few months ago. So I love the store. So very nice of them to lend me this guitar. There's actually a link in the description of this video where you can go and actually have a look at the guitar on their website. So in this video, I'm going to share some thoughts about this guitar and actually run through some of the unique features that make a Les Paul Personal. So a good place to start when you're looking at a Les Paul Personal is actually a little bit of context around the guitar. Now, the Personal name actually comes from the fact that Les Paul himself actually played this guitar, and this was his instrument of choice for many years. And there's quite a few photos that you can see of him actually playing one. He had one with a Bigsby on the back that he played live a lot from what I could see from photos. Now, what actually the Personal and the Les Paul Recording and the Les Paul Professional share is a really unique feature, and that is two low impedance humbuckers. And that's what makes it so distinctive from a normal Les Paul or Les Paul Custom or SG. So there's very few guitar pickups that are actually made in a low impedance way. I think EMG have a more modern version of a low impedance pickup. So yeah, quite unique. Now, the thinking behind these pickups was that you were actually able to plug directly into a mixing desk and go straight to tape, which was actually meant that you could bypass using amplifiers and stuff. And actually these low impedance pickups are incredibly quiet, so they're not prone to humming like normal guitar pickups. And they've also got a very hi-fi sound to them, so a very high frequency range as opposed to other guitar pickups. Now, probably that had a lot of upsides, but at the time, the zeitgeist were people like Hendrix and Clapton and Jimmy Page, who were using high gain amps and very hard distortion with their sounds. So this guitar got really mainly overlooked in that period, and by 1972, it was actually discontinued. And I think that's a real shame, actually, because there were so many fantastic features about this guitar, which really went unappreciated at the time. So now let's run through some of the overall features of the guitar. So it's an all mahogany body and neck and a bound ebony fretboard and a really nice neck, actually. I think for anyone who's accustomed to a Les Paul Custom, it's definitely got that kind of feel. It's a nice kind of rounded C-shaped neck and certainly not as plump as a kind of 50s Gibson neck. And a beautiful action on this guitar. The frets are kind of low, not worn out, it's just low and has a really nice fast action. And yeah, it just plays really nicely and rings out nicely all over the fretboard. ABR1 bridge with nylon saddles, waffle tuners, and then you start to get into some of the really unique aspects of this guitar. And one of the more curious ones actually is this balanced input here. And yeah, curious feature, but obviously Les Paul thought there was a reason for that. And I know you could actually get a microphone that would actually plug in and sit on the top of the guitar. And this actual rotary volume here was for the microphone. One of the features I particularly love about this guitar is this decade knob here, and it's actually a rotary knob, and it gives you a really beautiful kind of transparent change in tone. And I'm going to give you a little listen to that now so you get the idea of how that works. So some of the other features on the Les Paul, actually, it has a master volume here and then a treble and a bass knob here, but it's also got this curious three-way tone switch. So let's have a little listen to that now. So another one of the unique features of the Les Paul Personal is the phase switch here. So that allows you, when you've got both pickups selected, to switch the phasing and actually put you in a territory not unlike a Stratocaster. And that's a really super cool feature for a Les Paul. So there you have it, the Les Paul Personal guitar, and this thing just kind of oozes sex appeal and uniqueness, and such an interesting guitar. And you know, I've only had this for 2 days and just scratched the surface of the sounds that I can get. And unfortunately, this one has to get handed back to Found Sound. But yeah, fabulous guitar. I mean, if you're an investor, what a great guitar, one of 146 made, so you know your investment's going to appreciate over the years. There you have it, a Les Paul Personal. If you have some comments about it, please leave them in the comments section, and I always like reading those, and I'll see you again on another video really soon.